Good day, everybody. This is Johan Swart from Miyosi Coffee Farms, Miyosi Coffee Seedling Producers. Generally just the crazy dudes who are growing Rasa Mosa coffee outside Ressano Garcia in Mozambique. Nobody ever grew coffee here. We are the only coffee producers of this endemic coffee to Mozambique. In Mozambique, there's nobody else that produces it. Yes, there are some guys that are now starting to plant, but they're planting a general mix and melee of wild coffee species, and it was not identified as Rasamosa before they started. Now, I got a little bit tired of hearing a specific thing, and it's such a popular cliche term that is used a lot nowadays, where if you open up the internet and you see coffee prices are going up, everybody says coffee is in trouble. What do they mean? Coffee is not in trouble. What is coffee? Coffee is the extract from the beans of a species of plant which got 130 different species in it in this group, right? There's 130 species, and the extract of each and every one of their seeds could give you coffee. Coffee is not Cafe Arabica only, or Cafe Robusta, Canafora, which has got a variety called Robusta, and everybody calls it Robusta. The coffee is actually called Canafora. Those plants are in trouble, a little bit of trouble. Arabica really seriously so, and Canafora less. But the rest of the coffee species of the world, no trouble. So is coffee in trouble, or are two of the species out of 130 different species in trouble? Most definitely, the two species are in trouble. Now, why do people like to say that? They like to say that because 60% of the coffee produced in the world comes from Arabica. And 40% of the coffee produced in the world comes from Canafora, of the variety Robusta, mostly from the variety Robusta. So nearly 100% of the coffee produced in the world comes from two species. And those two species are the ones in trouble. So yes, coffee production in the world is in trouble because we as humans decided to focus on two coffee species out of 130 and put all our eggs in one basket, and now nature is showing us we made a couple of mistakes. Why do I say that? You know, these two species definitely have problems. I've seen the pictures, I've seen the videos of the hills of coffee plantations dying. Now, why are they dying? They are dying because we are experiencing extreme climatic events. What are extreme climatic events? People like to call it global warming, but it's not getting warmer. Sometimes it's bloody cold. Right. What is actually happening? What's happening is in an unpredictable fashion. It might rain more one year than the other year, than it normally rains. Or it might rain less. Or it might be colder, or it might be hotter. But not just a little bit, a lot. They call it extreme climatic events. So, extreme events, it is getting extremely hot. It's getting extremely cold. Right? Now, some plants can't handle it. And us as humans are now jumping and running and trying to fix those plants quickly, so that we can they can survive and we can continue with our fairy tale, our very beautiful story. Why do we need to fix them? Because first of all, these plants that are giving this huge production of coffee in this case are growing in areas which is not natural for them to grow. Where it's natural for a plant to grow is where nature allows it to grow. It's called being endemic. Now, where is Arabica endemic to? Arabica is endemic to Africa, to Ethiopia and to Yemen. That's where it actually comes from. It's not endemic to Honduras and Nicaragua and Brazil. It's not endemic to those areas. Being endemic to an area means the plant adapted over thousands of years to the climate there. Now, over thousands of years, climate gets hot and it gets cold and it rains and it's droughts and it's all of that. These plants never had the time because us as humans took them from the rainforests in Africa and we moved them to Brazil, where we also chopped down the rainforest. We removed the rainforests, right? And we planted coffee in rows and rows and rows and rows, huge plantations. And now nature is just doing what nature does and goes a little bit higher and a little bit lower and a little bit wetter and a little bit drier. And suddenly, where we decided to plant it, it dies. Isn't that perhaps a message from Mother Nature to say, hey, you're going in the wrong way with these plants, man. They were not meant to grow in rows and rows and rows and live off fertilizers and insecticides and everything because your bugs in Brazil are eating them. Nah? No. You know, I know we have to produce more and we have to find ingenious ways of producing more, otherwise the world would starve. But was it really so ingenious then to go and plant so much Arabica and so much Robusta in areas where the drought might kill them? The plants are not endemic to that area. And how do you fix that overnight? With extreme difficulty, and you might never get it right. The second thing is, most of these, call it troubled plants. These troubled plants, right? They were brought into areas where, as I said earlier, nature would not allow them to grow. And poor human planning went with that. Human planning, if we can foresee that this plant might really need water regularly because that's how it grows in the forests where it occurs naturally, it rains all the time. So nature developed for this thing a very shallow little root system. It doesn't go deep. It doesn't go wide. It's just got shallow, tiny little roots. What do? If we go and plant a plant like that somewhere in the mountains in another country, shouldn't we perhaps plan to put a dam there? Shouldn't we perhaps think of, it grows in the forest, it grows under other trees. Shouldn't we perhaps think of planting some shade trees over it? No. We plant it where we think it will grow well. And the soil is good, and we get good production. For how long? Now we blame nature because we planned very poorly. We say, coffee is in trouble. Coffee has a problem. Coffee is getting expensive. No, we as humans relied on perhaps the wrong species of coffee. We put our eggs in one basket and we're just doing that. Right? The third thing that really bothers me about these troubled plants is the fact that, for generations and generations, humans have been growing coffee. Why? How do you grow coffee? You look for a plant that has crop, and you pick the seeds there, and you take those seeds and you put them separate, and you grow more plants that carry the genetic properties of that plant, which is what you desire. So good. So how many generations now have we been growing coffee from the plants that gives the best seed, the biggest quantity of seed, the biggest quantity of coffee? Guys, go on the internet and have a look. You really get coffee plants that the branches are hanging down on the ground. It's just one mass of coffee going down. Do you find that in the rainforest where they come from? I doubt it. I really sincerely doubt it. All the wild plants that I've seen has got interspaced and much less coffee than those that we are commercially growing. Okay, so for generations we selected plants for one trait. One trait is too much to have as much as possible beans in production, as many kilos as possible. Okay, what about the other traits of the plant? Is a plant only a thing that produces a seed, or is a plant something that has roots, that has leaves that might be enable it to tolerate drought? A thicker, harder leaf. We can breed plants for that. We can breed plants to have deeper and better root systems. That doesn't happen overnight. We took these plants and we stuck them somewhere, and now nature is pointing a finger back at us and say, hey, you know what? Perhaps you were wrong. What are we doing differently here? We are planting a plant which is a wild coffee species. Wild because nobody is putting it in huge big plantations. We are planting a plant which is endemic to this area, so it's used to the drought of this area. Do you know what our rainfall here was this last year? 300, just over 300 millimeters. That is very, very little. Now tell any Arabica or Robusta coffee farmer he's only going to give 300 milliliters of water to his plants for a year. They'll die in the first 2 months. Right, that is what we are talking about. It's possible to grow coffee under certain circumstances. It's possible to grow coffee at lower altitude. Not all coffee grows in the mountains. You know, Madagascar is an island with, it's got some mountains and some high-lying areas, but it's also got a hell of a lot of lowlands and a lot of forests that haven't been destroyed by people yet. But do you know that more than 60 of nearly 50% of the world's coffee species occur in the forests in Madagascar? Okay, and they grow there and they grow well. But Madagascar gets hit by cyclones, by droughts, by floods, by everything you can imagine. And the coffee is still growing. It's possible to grow it everywhere. If you want to know more about how we are doing things and why we say this is a solution, visit us. Go and look for us on Instagram. Go and look for Rasamosa Coffee. Go and look for Mozambique Coffee. We have a number of Instagram pages, right? Go and look for us at Mozambique Coffee Farm or Miyosi Limitada, Miyosi LDA on Facebook. We are there. Or just send us an email. You can send it to mozgateway, MOZGATEWAY, mozgateway @gmail.com. Or send us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Please click subscribe. Please click like. And tell us why you like it and what you think is interesting about our videos. I thank you.